each hand we hold, gathered round this table. From far and near we travel home, blessed that we are able. Grateful for this sheltered place, with light in every window, saying welcome, welcome, share this feast. Come in away from sorrow. Father, mother, daughter, son, neighbor, friend, and friendless, all together, everyone, in the gift of loving kindness. Grateful for what's understood and all that is forgiven. We try so hard to be good, to lead a life worth living. Father, mother, daughter, son, friend and friendless, all together, everyone. Let grateful days be endless, grateful for each hand we hold, gathered round this table.
Welcome to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. This is Irish Bill with Seminole Bob here for our last show of the 2020 season. And I thought it was appropriate that we start out tonight's show. Since we're a day before Thanksgiving, we want to wish all of your, we're going to go ahead and stop that right now. Little Ray Charles sneaking in there.
Yeah.
But we want to wish everyone out there a very happy Thanksgiving. From Irish Bill's Twist on Sports, from my family, from Bob's family, and all of Raider Nation out there, we wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. We have so much to be thankful for. We're so blessed as individuals and as Raider Nation and as a country in general. I'll get to that later in the show with my twisted take. It won't be so twisted this time, but something to look forward to. Unfortunately, it is our last show because we ran into a buzzsaw with a tough Buchholz team. Bill,
I'm kind of looking. I had Coach Walls on the show last night. He came on at 6:30 last night on our show, or the press box night 2, and it's starting to be a real success. And we look forward to many more nights there. But we had Coach Walls on, and I wanted. It's tough to ask those questions to the coach after they bow out, and 39 seniors play their last game at Navarre. But you got to look to the future, and coaches, they know that question's coming. But who can we look forward to the upcoming season? Bright stars coming up in Navarre. And he goes, Bill, I always hate that question because I don't want to miss anybody. So it was a pleasure to have Coach Walls on last night. But on my way home last night, I want to share this a little bit. I posted it out on Facebook this morning. But I was listening to an interview with Isaac Bruce. You remember Isaac Bruce, don't you? Oh, Hall of Fame wide receiver from the St. Louis Rams. He was being interviewed last night, and I can't remember that. I think it was the Zach Guild show.
Yeah.
And he asked him, he goes, Isaac, what are you looking forward to most on Thanksgiving? And he goes, give thanks. No food, no family. It's just to give thanks. And I thought that was so appropriate.
Yep, and certainly in this time and in the COVID era, we have a lot to be, thankful for. And on top of the list, besides just for our own lives, and again, I don't want to steal any of my thunder later, is just remember at the beginning of the season, we didn't even know if we were going to have Navarre Raider football. And just to have any kind of football is going to be nice. I understand you're going to be driving over to Gainesville.
Unfortunately not.
Uh-oh.
They actually came up with a broadcaster from Gainesville that's right there in town that's going to broadcast the game back to the Panhandle region, which is funny because we had him on last night. His name's Mike Rideout. I actually have known Mike for like 7 or 8 years. We used to do the Dixie Youth Baseball tournaments at the end of the season when I worked for Jock Jive. So I've known Mike for quite a while. And I can tell you, folks, if you're going to listen to the game Friday night on 100.3 97.1, you're in for a treat because Mike is an outstanding broadcaster, and he's going to do his best broadcast of that game Friday night.
Is Tank going over or no?
Tank will actually be in North Carolina.
I see.
So he would have had to drive down from North Carolina to meet me in Gainesville, but they worked that out. Mike lives right there in Gainesville, so they'll be able to, what do they call it, simulcast the game back to the Panhandle, and should be a great game Friday night between Buchholz and Niceville. Some people think that Niceville is going to go in there and just walk all over them. We've watched this team play. They are very steady on the offensive side of the ball, and they are very quick in the defensive secondary, and they will put pressure on Trey Wainwright, something that he probably hasn't seen much of this year.
Yep, I found out that the coach's last name is Trey Wainwright of Niceville.
Whittemore. We were saying Whitmore, but it's actually Whittemore.
Whittemore, and his dad is the coach, I believe.
He is.
Yep.
His dad is the coach. It was actually the backup to start the season. Jack Hevesy was the starter going into the season and got hurt in game 2, and then the young Creed Whittemore came in. The sophomore, such poise for a sophomore. He went on and he's now won 8 straight games leading that team, and a great wide receiving core, especially led by the one young man, Quan Lee. Oh, gosh, what a game he had. I ended up redoing the stats. I got their stats today, and I had him for 5 catches for 175, but you know how hard it is to see those numbers sometimes on catches. He actually had 7 catches for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that was one of the best receiving games that I've ever broadcasted by that young man. Everything that was thrown to him, he brought it in.
Yep. Sometimes in double coverage, the Raider defensive staff made mid-game corrections. It just didn't work out in Navarre's favor, and a lot depends on whether that running back is going to be healthy for the game. Number 3.
Well, they kept him, Quan Smith. They kept him out of the game in the second half, so hopefully that was to help him get ready for this coming week's game.
He was moving around. He was standing on his feet, so as far as any kind of ACL, MCL, that kind of thing, didn't look like it. May have turned an ankle or something like that, but a lot's going to be dependent upon him too, because he's quite a threat, and it really makes that passing game even more lethal.
Most definitely. I know Niceville, gosh, they're solid. What another great night out of Trey Wainwright as they put up 35 in the first quarter. And it was turn out the lights, Irene, and it was all over after 1. But it should be a good matchup there. We got another good one here locally. Baker's heading over to Vernon. This time, last year, Vernon headed over to Baker, and Baker pulled out a 21-20 victory. And this time they're going over to Vernon, and Vernon has a little bit of something to settle this year.
Yep. It was a tough loss for the Yellow Jackets last year, and so be interesting to see how it turns out.
Well, let's talk about. Well, let's go down the scoreboard from last Friday night's game. You've probably heard them by now, but it won't hurt to go over them once again. Niceville over Leon, 42-0. Buchholz takes out Navarre, 35-21. Some people, I was reading some comments on my YouTube live chat, said that Navarre wasn't good. And it wasn't that Navarre wasn't any good. It was Buchholz just played a lot
Yeah,
better.
you've got to give respect to Buchholz. To say that Navarre wasn't any good, they weren't tested, etc. That's really discounting the other team. You've got to give, hats off to Buchholz.
Most definitely. Escambia took that long trip over to St. Augustine. One not usually traveled very well by teams out of the Panhandle. Navarre won there. I believe it was Michael Carter's senior year over there in 2016. They went on the next year and got beat. But St. Augustine takes out Escambia 48-27 to give them their only loss of the season. Pace, a last-second 32-yard field goal, and a game winner over Lee, 23-21, and probably one of the biggest upsets in the Panhandle this year. Mm-hmm. Now they have to take that trip to St. Augustine. You got Pine Forest upset Sewanee, 21-20. Florida High Catholic played them tough, 34-27. Florida High comes out on top. Rickards over West Florida, 38-16. Another shocker, Atlantic Coast, a sub-500 team, takes out Lincoln. Always plays well in the playoffs. Not this year, 17-9. Baker 34, Freeport 22. Mariana 48, South Walton 31. Another big night for Kemper Hodges, but it wasn't enough in Mariana. Taylor County 35, Bozeman 14. Coach Bo we've had him on last night as well. Always love talking with Coach Bo Johnson out of Bluntstown. They lost a heartbreaker, was up till the very end. Sneed scored a late touchdown and won 21-18. Vernon 34, Northview 19, Fleming Island 23, Chiles 7, University Christian 41, St. John Paul II 7. Madison County continues to roll, 54-7 over Hilliard. North Florida Christian over North Florida Educational, 42-0. And one of the better games of the night, Ribault takes out Godby. Ribault's 3-6. They've won 2 games in the playoffs already. Godby had triple overtime, 42-34.
Does it matter how many games you win? It's which games.
That's right. They had 1 win going into the playoffs, and now they're 3-6, and they're looking for their 3rd victory on the road. And we'll get to that game. I went through some change-ups in our games this week. We're going to pick quite a few games, and we're going to go to each classification and pick some games. Do we know much about some of these teams? Probably not, but we're going to pick them anyways.
I got to catch up somehow.
Yeah, that's another reason we're going to pick 28 games, so you're going to have a chance to catch up or to just fade off into the distance. Hopefully you catch up. But let's go over some of the scoring plays last Friday night's game. They got it. Buchholz on the board early, a 78-yard touchdown pass from Creed Whittemore to Quan Lee. Hunter Smith's kick is good. You're going to see some great kickers in that game Friday night, too, as well. And right as time was running out, Navarre gave Buchholz an extra down as they had a penalty there towards the end of the first quarter. Gave him a first down, and Quan Smith took advantage at 64 yards out, and it was 14-0 at the end of 1. Off to the second quarter, they extend the lead to 21 on a 6-yard pass from Whittemore to Lee. Quite the combination on that night. Mm-hmm. Smith with the kick, 21-0 Bobcats. Navarre would finally get on the board on a perfectly thrown ball from Zach Marquise to Jabari Mitchell. Preston Benton with the extra point. It was 21-7. Right before the half, with not much time left, 26.2 seconds, a 52-yard pass from Whittemore to Lee. Once again, it's 28-7 at the half. They would stretch it out to 35-7. And actually looking at starting a running clock as they were down in Raider territory a couple of times, but the Raider defense stood up, answered with a 68-yard run for Markey. I have never seen such a busted play as much as that was. Everybody was going to the left. Markey went to the right. All the defense, all 11 players, and all the rest of the Raiders were over here on the near sideline. And Marquise is just strolling down.
Was that the low snap that he bobbled and And then he took it to the house?
He took it to the house. 68 yards to cut it to 35-14 at the end of 3. They would score it to 8-11 to cut it to 14. A 21-yard pass from Jason Deal to Trent Hall, but not enough as the Raiders fall in their last game of the season to finish 6-1 on the season. And Zach Marquise, 10 of 22, had the interception bug last Friday night as he threw 3. Was that I think it was a combination of the secondary of Buchholz and a little bit of mistiming on Zach's part, but 3 interceptions. The Raiders passed for 153 yards on the night, 162 on the ground. So a nice balanced attack for the Raiders, 315 yards, but just not enough. Marquise led the way with 68 yards on 6 carries. Jabari Mitchell, the 1 catch for 54, led all receivers. And the Raiders offensively just not enough, as they were only 4 of 13 on third down. Something that's been a strong point for them all year, Bob.
Yeah, most coaches want to be around 50% in that category. And you're right. Navarro has been successful in that category throughout the year.
Marquise finishes up as the leading passer for Navarre, 48 of 90, 494 yards. The leading rusher, Jaden Rivera. I look for big things out of that young man. I think the best is still yet to come for that young man. 844 yards in 7 games, 11 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. Leading receiver Trent Hall will be back next year, 18 receptions, 292 yards, and 7 of those catches went for touchdowns this year for Trent. You know what? Last week when I was surprised, was a little surprised that we hadn't been seeing this all year long, was the running capability of Jaden Jones there in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. Came in almost a wildcat. They set up in a full house backfield?
Yeah, they had Grady back there. They had Lemmy Wilson.
Right.
And they had Jaden Jones. You have 2 defensive linemen and a backup quarterback and safety back in the backfield, and it worked. I mean, 3 carries, 31 yards for Jaden.
He did. He showed, we knew he had a lot of speed. They put him in the returning punts and some kickoffs, and I even think he went under center in the Crestview game once or twice. But, yeah, I think with Jaden Rivera and Jaden Jones, those are 2 hidden gems that I think some college is going to be. Because let's face it, with Rivera, you play a normal 10-game season, he would have easily, barring injury, surpassed the 1,000-yard mark for sure.
Most definitely. And Penton on the season, 18 of 19 on extra points, 3 of 6 on field goals. Rivera, your leading scorer, with 12 touchdowns, 72 points. Trent Hall with 42. Penton with 27. Unfortunately, I do not have defensive stats to talk about from last week, but your leaders going into last week's game, Devin Wright, what a season he's had. 58 tackles going into this game this past Friday night. Grady Kelly with 8 sacks heading into that game. 26 quarterback hurries on the season for Grady in 6 games, and that's pretty solid. And quite a defensive performance by the Raiders over the last 3 or 4 games of the season.
Yeah, the difference in the game was big plays. We gave up the big plays. In a playoff game, you can't do that. And interceptions, turnovers played into a factor. A lot of not a lot, but a few mental mistakes. The jumping off sides twice led to scores, may have even been 3 times. That helped Buchholz continue drives and or score.
Most definitely. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. We're going to kind of slide through this one a little bit quicker tonight as they are closing a little bit here early at Culver's. We can stay, but I don't want to stay any longer than we have to. But we'll get our show in tonight, and we'll go through it rather quickly, and we'll pick our games. And I got some fun facts from Florida history, and I have our leading passer, rusher, and total yards and receiver is from the Panhandle of Florida, in the state of Florida. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. Day before Thanksgiving, we want to send happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And we want to thank Randy and Honey Smith for allowing us to come in every Wednesday during the season this year here in 2020. And we look forward to many more coming up in 2021. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, are making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Navarre Raider Sports is brought to you by Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate, your local real estate connection. With Ursula, you got a positive, helpful partner for buying or selling a home. Ursula can help with all of your real estate needs. Whether in the Florida Panhandle or around the world, her 16 years experience in real estate will work for you with innovative marketing strategies. Thinking about selling your home? Call Ursula for a free marketing analysis to see if you qualify for one of the incentive programs. Call or text 850-642-5711. Email ursula.householder@floridamoves.com or go to householderhomes.com. Go Raiders! Your fans are all behind you at the field or while you're watching at home.
When this old world starts getting me down and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs and all my cares just drift right into space. On the roof is peaceful as can be, and
Welcome back to Culver's in downtown Navarre. This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. This is our last show for the 2020 season as the Raiders bow out last Friday night. We're hoping to have at least one more going into this week. Would have been a nice setup and a game hosting against Niceville, but not to be. So we got to move on, and moving on by heading right to our high school picks.
That's why your front windshield, Bill, is bigger than your rear windshield. So
what's that mean?
You have to look forward, not backwards.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, last week neither one of us can claim victory as we both went 17-7 last week. So you're about 5 games back. So that's why I went up to 28 games this week that we're going to pick. And we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and get started. Niceville 9-0 at Buchholz 8-1. I think the Bobcats are going to stay with them early, but I think in the long run, Niceville's going to end up pulling out.
I agree. I think at least Niceville by at least 2 touchdowns. I think the passing game is going to be the key. If they can put pressure on Wainwright, they probably could stay in the game. They got to eliminate the big play, which hurt Navarre. So Niceville, for me, goes on the road and beats Gainesville Buchholz.
Most definitely, and they'll face the winner of our next game, Atlantic Coast 5-5, heading to Fleming Island 8-2, and I'm going with the home team in this one.
Yep, Atlantic has just been at the right place at the right time. I'm taking Fleming Island.
Vieira 5-3, the Hawks heading to Edgewater, the team that knocked Niceville out in the region finals last year.
Right.
I'm going with Orlando Edgewater in this one.
Yeah, they're always strong, especially at home.
Wakiva 6-3. Am I saying that right? Wakiva?
Wakiva, I believe.
Wakiva 6-3 at Mitchell 10-0.
Where's Mitchell?
I think it might be in the Orlando area.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the undefeated team and at home in this one.
You got it.
Next, move down to 6A, regions 1 and 2. Pace 5-3, St. Augustine 8-2. I think the Patriots' dream season is going to come to an end, unfortunately.
Going to go with St. Augustine as well.
Columbia 4-5 started out the season rather slow. They've been picking it up of late. Always tough when they get to the playoffs. They're going to Daytona to take on Mainland this time. Could be an upset, but I'm going to go with Mainland in this one.
I'm going to go with Columbia.
To get to 500. And they would play St. Augustine in the region finals. Mm-hmm. Okay. Lake Minneola 8-1, heading to Largo 5-4. I think I'm going to go with the 8-1 team here in this one on the road.
Mineola.
Is it Mineola?
Mineola.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, then we move over to Countryside 8-3, Gaither 10-0, a team that came up to the Panhandle last fall and faced Escambia, and Escambia took them down in their run to the state championship game. I think they're going to stay unbeaten in this one.
Gaither for me as well.
Head down to 5A, Revolt 3-6. That's right, folks, 3-6. Heading to Rickards in this one. Rickards 6-1. I'm heading and taking another Raider team on this Friday night, Rickards.
I'm going to go with Revolt.
They're playing well these last couple of weeks. They took out Godby from Tallahassee out last week because they take out another Tallahassee team. Pine Forest 4-4, heading over to Glen St. Marie, down I-10 about 350 miles. Mm-hmm. Maybe because that's not where it is to Jacksonville. So maybe about 300 miles to Glen St. Marie, exit off of I-10. I'm going with the home team in this one, the Baker County team.
Going with Baker County.
Dunellen 8-0, heading to Menendez. And I think Menendez is actually forfeited this game. They bowed out, but I'm still was going to take Dunellen anyways.
Yep, same here.
Clay 9-1, heading to Vanguard, a tough place to play. Ocala 7-1, Clay 9-1. Something's got to give in this one. I'm going to let you pick this one first.
I'm going to go with Clay on the road.
Clay on the road. I'm going to go with Vanguard at home. So I'm going to give you a chance here, Bob, to either sneak back in or pull away.
Give me a chance.
I'm going to give you a chance.
Yeah, right.
We're going to head to Class 4A. Gadsden County 5-1, heading to Mariana 8-3. One of the only teams that have local teams, them and Baker, that have played 11 games on the season, and but I think their season is going to end at the hands of Gadsden County.
I'm going to go with the home team. Mariana.
Bob going with the home team.
They have been up and down.
They have, but they've been hot of late.
That's what you want to do.
Next, we got South Sumter 5-4, heading to Bowles. You never win at Bowles.
No, not even in Tiddlywinks.
Tampa Catholic 7-2 heading to Cocoa in the other Class 4A in Region, I believe that is Region 3.
Right.
I'm going to go with Cocoa.
Yeah.
Then we have Cardinal Gibbons. This is a great matchup. Cardinal Gibbons 5-1 heading to American Heritage Delray Beach, who we played a few years ago, and they're 4-3. Cardinal Gibbons, the number 1 team in the state in that classification. I'm going with them on the road.
Going with the Catholics.
Now we head down to 3A. Great matchup here in Region 1. Florida High 10-0 on the season, heading to Jacksonville to take on Trinity Christian, who's 9-1. I think Trinity Christian is a slight favorite in this one. I really like Florida High in this one, but it's tough to pick against Trinity Christian on the road. I mean, at home. So I'm going to go with Trinity Christian.
Yeah,
at home.
the Catholics really gave them a run for their money last week. I'm going to stick with Florida High and the Seminoles.
That's one Seminoles team that you may have a chance of winning. I'm sorry. I know it's been a long season.
It's not over yet, brother.
It's not. Next we have John Carroll Catholic going to Trinity Catholic, 9-1 at 6-3. I'm going with the road team in this one.
I'm going to go with the Catholics.
Which one?
John Carroll.
Okay. Next, this is a really good game coming up too. Lakeland Christian 8-2 at Berkeley Prep 6-1. Berkeley Prep's been a solid 3-18 for quite a while. Lakeland Christian has come on as of late in the last 5 or 6 years, and 8-2 at 6-1. I got to give the home field advantage the edge in this one. Berkeley Prep.
I'm going with the visitors.
Going with Lakeland Christian, and we finish up Edison 4-1 at the number 1 team in Class 3A, Chaminade Madonna. I'm going with Madonna in this one.
Yep, Madonna for me.
Head on Class 2A, University Christian 6-4 at North Florida Christian 6-2. Wow. University Christian has been playing very well over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I am actually going to go with the road team in this one.
I as well.
Next, we have Foundation Academy at Victory Christian, 8-1 at 7-4. Both teams, last I checked, were Foundation was ranked number 2, and Victory was just outside. So I'm going to go with Foundation Academy in this one.
I as well.
Next, we have Seffner Christian, 7-4, heading to Northside Christian, 6-5. Seffner Christian not ranked, and Northside Christian not ranked as well. So it's a battle of unranked teams. So I'm going to go with Seffner Christian on the road.
I'm going to go with Northside at home.
Okay. Next, we had the number 1 team in Class 2A, Champagnat Catholic, heading to Naples to take on Community School of Naples. Catholic 8-2 and Naples 9-1. I'm going Champagnat Catholic, the number 1 team in 2A.
Yep.
And now we get down to Class 1A that affects 3 of our 4 teams here in the area. Baker 11-0 heading to Vernon. And I know the people up north in Okaloosa County are not going to like me for this pick. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets of Vernon with a little bit of payback and a little bit of chip on their shoulder. And one K1 Powell that will play a whole game. And I look forward to Vernon pulling this one out.
Oh, the Baker boys are going to make K1 Powell's last game at home.
They're going to. Are you saying it's the last game?
Yeah. I'm picking the Baker boys.
Okay.
That's the second Baker team I picked tonight.
Yep. And Baker County earlier. Mm-hmm. Taylor County 6-4, led by sophomore quarterback Kivas Thomas. But they're heading to Sneeds, and the Pirates are playing very well right now. I'm going with the Pirates at home.
Arg. It's a great, probably one of the 4 best games in any classification and down here in 1A.
At Madison County, 9-2. At Union County, 8-3. Do I even need to, which direction we're going in this one?
Madison County has gone farther and beats higher classification teams. I'm going with Madison County.
and Hawthorne 8-2 at Wildwood 9-1. Should be a good matchup there. Heading to Wildwood, I don't know a whole lot about either one of these teams, and usually when I do that, I usually go with the home team.
And when you do that, I usually go with the visitors. I'm going with Hawthorne.
Yeah, let's see how many different we got here. 1, 2, 6. Okay, so this could turn really ugly, or it could turn in your favor. But we'll post that online on my Irish Bills Twist on Sports page, and also out on my website as well, so you know who's going to end up winning. We'll post the final numbers.
That's the only way you'll find out.
Yep. So you're going to have to go somewhere, but you don't have to stay at home. Let's head on over to Irish Bills Super 7 Panhandle Power Rankings, the last one for the year that I'll be doing. I'll still be recognizing players, but as far as we only have 4 teams left in the Panhandle. Niceville at 1. They've been up there all year, never relinquished it. Scambia 2, Navarre 3. We've had some movement in 4, 5, 6, and 7, but Pace right now is being still left. They move up to number 4. West Florida 5, Washington 6, Milton 7. Down in our small schools, Baker, Vernon, Sneads, Northview, Mariana Catholic, and Bluntstown. I went kind of outside the region, but the game was played in the Panhandle. My offensive player of the week was from Buchholz. Wide receiver Quan Lee had 7 receptions for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 35-21 win over Navarre. And Bluntstown defensive end Jerry Mosley contributed 13 tackles, of which 5 were solo, 8 assists, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a sack in a 21-18 loss to Snead. So congratulations goes out to Quan Lee and Jerry Mosley, our final 2 players of the week.
Yep, 2 good ones, too.
It could have been a couple others. Kemper Hodges had another great night, 27-48, 361. We had him on the show last night. Interviewed him. He had 3 touchdowns and also contributed 1 on the ground. Buchholz's Creed Whittemore, a nice night, 15-25, 277 and 4 scores. And Niceville's Trey Wainwright, 8 of 10, only 8 of 10, but at 250 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Jeez. Yeah, I think he may be throwing a little bit more than that against Buchholz.
Most definitely. And will we finally see a 4-quarter game from Niceville with all of their starters?
Well, a good point. Ringwhite has. I don't think he's played much of the 4th quarter in any of the contests.
Sort of like with Tua for Alabama that year, and in the end, it kind of came back to hurt him a little bit.
More ways than one.
But our Tua. Wide receivers, Pine Forest's Keyshawn Qualls won a night, 8 receptions, 195 yards in the score. South Walton's Cade Roberts, 10 receptions, 164 yards. He ends up leading the state in receptions and receiving yards.
Well, he definitely was the number 1 go-to person for South Walton, no question about it. His dad was a volunteer offensive coordinator, but a lot of talent there. And it'll be interesting to see.
Only a sophomore. A junior.
So
Roberts and Hodges will be back next year for South Walton. Is that not scary? Plus 6'6" tight end Pierce Sperlin.
They better find a defense.
Yeah, and that's one thing I brought up on the show last night on the press box. I said, yeah, you guys need to pick up on the defensive side of the ball. And he kind of agreed with me. Mm-hmm. But running backs, Joe Brunson. That young man's having an outstanding season. Number 2 in the state behind our next man, Jaden Jackson. 27 carries, 180 yards, 2 scores. Brunson went for 24 carries. I think the first time he's been under 200 this season. 184 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jaden there as well. And they're 1-2 in the state in yardage. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. Our other defensive players, Northview's Trevor Scott, Johnny Wyndham, and Pine Forest's DeAndre McLam and Vernon's Elias Foreman all had 11 tackles last Friday night. And our kickers had another good night. Charles LeBee, 6 for 6, extra points. Irving Arzate, 5 for 5 for Taylor County. I know I'm probably messing that one up quite. Baker's Ethan Edge, 4 of 5. Pace's Pate Garrett, 2 of 2, but the game-winning 32-yard field goal for the victory. Pine Forest's Dakota Weaver, 3 for 3, and Navarre's Preston Penton was 3 for 3 as well. So our final players of the week: our offensive player Buchholz's wide receiver Quan Lee, defensive player Bluntstown defensive end Jerry and Mosley. So it's been a kind of fun year. It's been a weird year, but it's been kind of a fun year.
Anytime you have football, it's a fun year. And we had no idea, Bill, whether we were going to play. And you saw it. Listen, if you want to watch a snippet that tells you the intensity and how much he loves Raider football, the post-game interview that Brian Lesser and Navarre Press had with Coach Walls was wonderful on one hand and sad on the other. Coach Walls got very emotional talking about his team, and I'm sure all coaches do. It's weird how it all worked out and started, from taking temperatures and masking and individual workouts. And so Jay Walls, man, I tell you, he's one class guy. If I want to go in a battle, I want him leading us.
Most definitely. And then we're going to move right over to our college games. A couple of them canceled. I'm going to have to pull them up because to make sure, who knows, they might cancel on me as we're doing the show.
Probably.
So we're going to pull up the games for this week, and that way we can have the spreads as well. And college football kicking off tomorrow. We were gonna have Colorado State and Air Force, but we're gonna replace that with New Mexico and Utah State tomorrow. I know it's not much to talk about, but you have Utah State that is a 6.5-point underdog,
and they're at home.
They are at home.
I'll go with the spread. Obviously, Vegas knows something. I'll go with New Mexico.
Okay. I'm going to go with the home team, Utah State. Okay, now we move on to Friday, the big game for me, and I think the biggest game for Notre Dame left on their schedule in the regular season as they travel to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina. Notre Dame a 5.5-point favorite on the road, a 2:30 kickoff, actually 3:30 Eastern time in Chapel Hill on Friday. And you know I'm not picking against my Irish.
I'm not picking against your Irish. I think they're going to win. Hate picking against Michael Carter. Notre Dame should easily cover the spread there.
Next, we're going to go number 15 Iowa State, 6-2 at number 20 Texas, 5-2. Texas has been playing a lot better over the last 3 or 4 weeks after their loss to Oklahoma. Iowa State has had an excellent season under Matt Campbell once again. This is kind of a
which Texas team's going to show up? They've won a couple.
Iowa State is a 1-point favorite on the road.
They've won a couple close ones. I'm going to go with Texas in this one.
Okay, Bob's going to go with Texas.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go with the Cyclones on the road. Okay, now we move to Nebraska, 1-3 at Iowa, 3-2. They've been playing really well over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes at home. Probably will be snowing up there in Iowa.
I'm going with the Hawkeyes.
Number 9, Oregon at Oregon State. This game usually played later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a battle of Oregon. Oregon looking too good right now. I'm going with the Ducks.
They have a name for their rivalry. I can't remember what it was. Is it Bedlam?
Now, that is Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That was played last week. And the next game is canceled as well. The
Washington.
The Apple Cup next week.
It's canceled.
This week is canceled. So Washington is playing Utah this week. So I got to pull and see where that game is going to be played at. I think that's a late game Saturday night. Yeah, as Utah-Arizona State's game was canceled, and they are going to play. It looks like they are going to be playing in Utah. So go cross that out and go Utah. Utah hasn't won a game this year, so I'm going with the Huskies.
Huskies.
Now we flip over to Saturday. the longest rivalry games played streak comes to an end as Minnesota backs out of the axe.
The Paul Bunyan axe.
Paul Bunyan axe this year against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not having any luck with the teams that they're playing and their own
conference.
Their own conference as well. So that game is canceled. We're just going to move on from that one.
Yeah, the
Next
Big Ten backed himself. The Big Ten backed himself in a corner where if one person tests positive, they cancel. So good luck trying to get into postseason.
We have the Iron Bowl coming up Saturday. Number 22 Auburn, 5-2 at number 1 Alabama, 7-0. I believe Alabama is 24-point favorites in this one. I'm going with the Tide at home.
Yeah, Coach Saban tested positive.
Are we positive?
Once again for COVID. Yep, sure did. So he will not coach. Coach Sarkisian will assume responsibilities. I think it makes it a closer game, but I think Alabama just has too much firepower. I'm going to go with Roll Tide. Right, Bill?
Nope. Well, I'm still taking Bama, but I'm not saying that. Pittsburgh 5-4 are heading to Death Valley to take on number 4 Clemson, who's 7-1, coming off a weekend where they didn't get a play, as they found out 3 hours before kickoff. I think Clemson's going to be mad. They're going to be angry, and they're going to take it out on Pittsburgh this week.
Some of that may have been psychological. There's no doubt what Dabo said was he meant it, but he kept on, and maybe they're trying to, since the quarterback has not thrown the ball in game-like situations, maybe he's trying to hold off the upset. I'm going to pick Clemson to cover the spread. I think it's going to be a very close game.
So Utah versus Washington, they just got an update from Nolcor. It's been moved up to the prime time game Saturday night, so you'll be able to watch that, I believe, on ABC.
Okay.
And this is my upset pick of the week, Bob. 14-point dogs, LSU going to Texas A&M, number 5.
Right.
A&M 5-1, number 5 team in the CFP, the initial CFP last night. LSU 3-3, coming off a big win last week. They got back into the winning column, and I'm going with LSU in the upset in this one.
All right. I'm going to go with Jimbo's boys.
Then we'll move on down to Florida. Kentucky 3-5 at Florida. No chance for the team from the Bluegrass State. I think Florida's going to run all over Kentucky.
Yeah, the Tide won by 60 over Kentucky. Florida may want to – this may be a style points game. Not only for the fans, but also for the the BCS committee.
How do you like that Kentucky looking at the end of the season, especially the way it's turned out? And 1 week you play Alabama's offense, the next week you play Florida. Your defense is going.
You got to give it hats off though to Mark Stoops. He's not backing down, but the Gators.
Texas Tech 3-5 at Oklahoma State 5-2. I'd like to go with Texas Tech and Tommy Leggett from Navarre, but unfortunately, I'm going to go with OSU, the other OSU at home.
You're going to go with the Cowboys?
Number 24, Tulsa. We like the Golden Hurricanes. 5-1 heading to Houston. This is going to be a really good game. I think I'm going to take Tulsa to keep their winning streak alive.
I'm going to pick Tulsa as well. Is that one of the games that got canceled, though, is my question. I'm not sure. Because we're living on Tulsa time. You know that.
Oh, that's a great song. I think I'm not seeing it here, so it might have already been canceled.
Tulsa and Houston postponed.
Okay, so we lose that one.
So not canceled, but postponed.
Because they do have an empty week in the Big 12. One thing that they did, they're not in the Big 12. They're in the American Athletic Conference.
Right.
Okay, next we move on to Arkansas 3-5 at Missouri 3-3. Is that game still on?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see who we get.
Missouri's favored, I believe.
They're favored by 14. Actually, that should be Vanderbilt at Missouri, not
Yeah.
So that makes my pick all that much easier. Missouri in a walk.
Yeah. Well, the Vandy hung with Florida in the first half last week.
Penn State 0-5, traveling to Michigan 2-3. These two once proud programs
That would be
are kind of stinking this year.
Well, that would be certainly a must-watch game in any other year. Gosh.
I'm going with Penn State to drop to 0-6. And who would have thunk that coming into the season?
No kidding. Does that mean James Franklin's job's on the line?
It's got to start be getting a little bit hot. Well, you had all your best players opted out of the season.
Yeah, that you don't have any really choice on that. I'm going to go with Big Blue.
Next, we head over to Indiana and Maryland. Tua's younger brother. Three as we like to call him. Or is it Tulua?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going with Indiana after a tough loss. They fell down early to Ohio State. They battled back, got within 7, had a chance, had the ball, but just fell a little bit short. I'm going with Hoosiers in their 5th win of the season.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they're made of this week. I think Maryland covers, but I'm going to go with the Hoosiers as well.
Number 3, Ohio State at Illinois and the Fighting Lovey Smiths. No game in this one. That game's over by halftime.
Ohio State.
Northern Illinois to Western Michigan. We had to pick a MAC game this week, and I'm going with Western Michigan. The Broncos keep on winning.
Do they know how to play football on a weekend?
That's right. They've played Wednesday and Tuesday night, I believe.
I'm going with the Broncos.
And then we got number 23, Louisiana 7-1 at Louisiana Monroe. ULM's down this season 0-8, and the Raging Cajuns will put up a big number on.
I think a Louisiana team's going to win.
You got that right.
Yeah. Cajuns.
Number 16, Coastal Carolina heading to Texas. 8-0. They're heading to Texas State, who's 2-9.
The Chanticleers, the darlings of NCAA football. Could they make a top 15 this year, which would put them on a pretty good bowl game?
They have one game left against a very tough Liberty team at the end of the season, so we'll find out. Number 11, Northwestern, impressive win over Wisconsin last week.
Saw that, yeah. Watched that game.
Forced 4 turnovers. They pretty much stymied the Wisconsin offense. 5-0 heading to Michigan State, 1-3. I'm going with the Wildcats to stay unbeaten and go to 6-0.
Yep.
Colorado 2-0 at USC 3-0. I'm going with the home team in this one, USC.
I'm going to go with the Trojans.
You act like you were going to go the other way there.
Yeah, you did that. Next game was canceled, I believe.
Cincinnati and Temple.
Yeah.
So I will guarantee one thing that, yeah, you're correct. And Cincinnati was 36-point favorites as well.
You want to replace that with
how about
do you have Mississippi State? They play this week.
Did they play the Egg Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Coach Lees call it the Apple Cup by mistake?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we'll add the
Mississippi favored by 9.5
at Ole Miss. Hotty toddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with hotty toddy in this one.
I am too.
And we'll throw number 13 Georgia at South Kakalaka. 5-2 Bulldogs against South Carolina and the Muschamp-list Gamecocks.
I guess that's an adjective now. I'm going to go with Georgia.
Me as well.
South Carolina started well, had a couple big wins, and just kind of fallen off the edge of the world.
Most definitely. Number 14 Oklahoma really getting the offense going now. Heading to West Virginia, who is a really strong defense. I think offense is going to prevail in this one.
Yeah, I don't know what the over is, but I'd love to have it. I'm going to go with the Sooners.
Let's see if we can find that. Don't you love on-air production here? See where we got that one game going. I think that's an early game. I'm still not seeing it here. Either that or I'm just overlooking it. Not really seeing it here. But we'll go ahead and pick it anyways. And Virginia 4-4 heading to Florida State 2-6. Do the Seminoles get another victory, or will the Cavaliers?
I think
go
so
home with
too. They're
another?
favored by 9.
You're going with your Florida State Seminoles?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Cavaliers in this one. And we'll pick one more game on wherever it ends.
Sure.
Okay, let's pick that. Here's a tight 1-point game. Let's go Louisville and Boston College.
At BC.
It's a 1-point game with Boston College, 1-point favorite. I'm going to go with BC. You're going to go with the Cardinals?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals and their speed.
Okay. Well, there's our college picks. Unfortunately, that's unless I just fall flat on my face this week. I have a 10-game lead heading to our
10 games.
10 games. I went 18-5 last week. You went 16-7.
We still have the bowl picks, though.
Well, yeah,
We'll have to do the
we
bowl
still
picks.
got a lot of bowl picks coming up.
If there's bowl games. We hope there is.
Great point. So there's our college picks. At last on air. Now we're going to move over to our former Navarre Raiders. Where are they now? And we can add one individual back to page 1 as Jordan Leggett has signed with the Denver Broncos.
Has he really?
He has.
Great
He'll be on their
job.
practice squad. He signed this past week, 2 weeks after he had his first child. Theodore James Leggett will be known as Teddy. I like it, TJ. And he'll be with the I'm not sure what they look at as far as bringing him up or not, but he's currently on the practice squad. So congratulations to Jordan.
Absolutely.
And his younger brother, Tommy, he did not play in a 24-23 win over Baylor. They moved to 3-5 on the season. Next game up is Oklahoma State. That's coming up this Saturday, 11 a.m. On this season, Tommy with 40 tackles, 29 solo, 11 assists. It was an open week for Michael Carter as they get ready for Notre Dame. On the season, Michael with 809 yards on 111 carries, 4 touchdowns, 21 receptions for 229 yards and 2 scores. Offensive lineman Nick Brahms, congratulations goes out to Nick as he was the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week.
Saw that.
And congratulations to go out Nick Redshirt Jr. at Auburn. He started in a 30-17 win over Spokane and Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And they're 5-2 on the season, coming into their matchup this Saturday afternoon at Alabama. Ave Maria University offensive lineman Lamarcus Smith, a senior, played his last game for the Gyrenes. He started in a 24-13 loss to Southeastern. They finished the season 3-4, 2-3. West Virginia defensive lineman Jordan Jefferson, a sophomore. He had an assisted tackle in a 24-6 win over TCU. Next game coming up against Oklahoma on Saturday. And South Alabama linebacker Josh Carter, he plays for the USA Jaguars. They're 3-6 on the season. He had no stats in a 31-10 loss to Georgia State. They'll be hosting
Arkansas State
this week, 2 p.m. kickoff. And Colorado State wide receiver Dante Wright, their game against UNLV was postponed last week.
I saw the Wrights flew out there.
Now it's their game this week against Air Force has been canceled.
Canceled, not postponed. So
who knows when they'll play
that's
next?
That's a shame.
It is.
That's a shame because
he's
such talent.
He's played 2 games. He's got 255 yards on 15 catches, 17 yards on 5 carries. Has had an outstanding 2 games that he's gotten on the field. And University of Louisiana long snapper James Segrest, they preferred walk-on this year, not eligible to play. They'll be in they're one of their rivalry games against ULM at 2 p.m. on this coming Saturday. So there is your where are they now? And we're down. We're going to moving on over to Seminole Bob's Twisted Take.
Well, mine's short and sweet. I just want to echo Bill's sentiments early on about being what I have to be thankful for. Certainly life and love and family. This ugly guy sitting next to me, that we've been friends now 2 or 3 years.
I think we were friends before we were even friends, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We were friends before we were ever friends. I just have so much to be thankful for. The clothes on my back, the shoes on my feet, the food in my stomach, the roof over my head. Simple things, taking the garbage out, coming back in and bumping into the wall of the house. And I'm thinking, instead of cursing because I hit the corner and it's going to leave a mark, Lord, I'm thankful for this house that you provided for me. And so I have a lot to be thankful for. Beautiful kids. One, Alyssa is a mascot, one of the senior mascots for the team, the girl mascot for Navarre and Anne Marie. Both great swimmers. So proud of them. My older 2 kids, George and Paige, just great kids. Great. They've grown up to be great adults. It's not been easy. No one ever said it was. But
No.
As we cut the turkey and stuff our face with the stuffings, I'm thankful for that. I also want to remember those who are eating out of a canteen and maybe MREs somewhere overseas defending our country. Want to remember them sitting in a foxhole eating a boxed turkey dinner as we sit at our table comfortable and enjoying.
Because of them.
So I give thankful for finally a Lord that loves me despite my failures. Yes, Bill, I do have a few.
Not many. The only one I could figure out was being a Florida State fan, but
well,
it could be worse.
A little known trivia fact as I end my take, I was accepted at University of Michigan, and I was accepted at University of Florida, and I was going to, the plan A was to go live in Michigan with my sister. They had another child, so I ended up with plan B and staying here, and I wouldn't have gotten to meet my wife and got to meet my partner next to me. And so for that, Lord, I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for you, the listeners, our sponsors.
Yeah, most definitely. But I'm going to tack onto this before I get to my fun facts, and we'll end it with some fun stuff. And well, I'm thankful that I'm able to still call my dad. With all that he's been dealing with here in 2020 and what he's dealt with in his life, he's still around. He'll be 88 years old next month. I'm so very thankful for, even though they'll be sheltered in tomorrow as it starts to ramp back up again. I'm thankful for him and that I get to talk to him 2 or 3 times a week on my way home from work. And so I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for my mother-in-law who lives with us. Yeah, I know. I said that. I actually mean it.
She's a wonderful lady.
She is. And I'm thankful for my family and Brooke and Brady. Brady's home from school.
Awesome.
I came in late last night or the other night on Monday night, and then Brooke will be over after work tomorrow, and we'll have Thanksgiving dinner. But most of all, I'm thankful for the opportunities that the man upstairs has provided me to do what I'd love to do and talk about sports and especially about our Raiders. And I'm thankful that he continues to bless me and let me do the things what I've always wanted to do. And I'm thankful for this guy. I might give him a lot of grief at times, but I'm thankful that he stepped up the day before our opening kickoff in 2019. Mm-hmm. I had yet to have a broadcast partner, and Bob messaged me and said, "You still looking for someone?" I said, "Funny you should ask."
Be on time.
Be on time. No, we've had a great 2 years. We look forward to many more coming up.
Amen.
Doing Navarre football, and I'm just thankful for our country and the place, like you said, a roof over our head, food on our table, clothes on our back, a garage to put my car in at night, even though it's controlled by my mother-in-law's car right now.
I saw that. You're driving the producer's car today.
I got the producer's car tonight. And so, but I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I'm thankful for our sponsors. Randy and Honey Smith here at Culver's allow us to come in every Wednesday night. University Lending Group has been with me 7 or 8 years now. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright. Navarre Raider Quarterback Club always steps up. They were their backing this year was able to bring us the game this past Friday night at home in the playoffs. Express Employment Professionals, the producer, and the business that she works for, and Ursula Householder. What a treat. About 8 years now, Ursula has been sponsoring our broadcast on Wednesday and Friday nights, and we're so blessed with our sponsors.
She checked in?
She checks in wherever she's at. She always checks in.
No matter over in Europe or somewhere stateside.
But now it's time. Let's finish it up with some fun before we head off and get a good night's sleep before we fill ourselves up with way too much turkey tomorrow. Sound like a plan?
Absolutely.
This week we're going longest winning streaks in Florida history.
Okay.
Number one is Lakeland, 53 straight games from 2004 to 2007. Union County from 94 to 97 was right behind at 52. Glade Central in 98 to 01 was 47. Baker comes in the fourth slot at 42 in a row from 83 to 86. That's when Coach Joe Brunson played for the Baker Gators. Booker T. Washington out of Miami, 41 straight. Euclid is now DeLand High School, back in 41 to 45. They had 40 straight. Cocoa, 38 from 08 to 10. And Pine Forest comes in at about, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, number 11 with 31 straight from 87 to 89 right before I got here. And there's your Florida high school's longest winning streaks, 53. Not even close to the national record, as I'm about to tell you what the national record is.
What's the national record, Bill?
151 straight games.
Holy smokes.
De La Salle out of Concord, California, from 92 to 2003.
10 years.
They won 151 straight
Wow.
games. 109, so it's 42-game stretch between 1 and 2. Independence out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 2000 to 2007, 109. And they always throw one name in there that you're just going to have a hard time pronounce. Number 3 with 104, I'm going to spell this out first, Pahranaghat. Pahranagat Valley, Alamo, Nevada, 104.
It's out of Alamo.
Out of 104 straight there at number 3. Shattuck out of Oklahoma with
Gesundheit.
92. Morrison with 90 from 89 to 95. South Panola out of Batesville, Mississippi with 89 from 03 to 08. 87 for Sacred Heart out of Falls City, Nebraska, 89 to 95. 79 for Smith Center, Kansas, 04 to 09. 76, Stephen Argyle Central out of Stephen, Minnesota with 76. Maryville, Tennessee, that's where one Bo Herring plays college football at for Maryville, the Scots. That's 74 from 2004 to 2008. And the longest current winning streak is currently 71 games, Caledonia, Minnesota, 2015 to the present. They've won 5 straight state titles.
Well, they would be number one by a lot in Florida, and they're not even sniffing the top 10 in the country.
And they're not even number 1 in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, correct. That is correct.
But they only end up playing 3 games this season, so because of all the things that was going on up north. And we're going to throw a little extra in tonight, as I went out and did some perusing yesterday. Our Florida leader in passing hails from South Walton High School for the whole state of Florida. Kemper Hodges, only a junior, 208 of 353 on the season, 2,860 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He comes in at number 1. Colin Amison from Port St. Joe at number 12, and Trey Wainwright, who's probably pretty much played about 2 or 3 quarters every game, comes in at number 19. But what's impressive about Trey Wainwright, he's the leading percentage passer in the state of Florida at 78.6%.
That's crazy. Crazy numbers.
our Florida leader in rushing, also from the Panhandle. Jaden Jackson, Northview, 195 carries, 2,244 yards in 9 games, averaging 249 yards a game and 11.5 per carry. Joe Brunson comes in at number 2 from Baker, 280 carries, 2,234 yards, 203 yards a game, 8.0 per carry. Number 5, Alex Williams from Weewa, the quarterback we've talked to, had a couple of 300-yard games this year, 158 carries, 1,754 yards in 10 games. He averaged 11.1 a carry. And Calvin Stringer from Sneeds comes in at number 15, 1,216 yards. Still playing as they're coming up in their game this week. Our leading receiving also hails from South Walton, the state of Florida. Cade Robinson, only a junior, 88 receptions on the season. The nearest guy to him is 23 catches behind him with 65. 1,350 yards in 10 games, 15.3 per reception, 135 yards a game. The second one is Kamara Odom. He's right behind him at 1,318 yards, 20.3 per catch, 131 yards a game. And those are your top 2. And your total leader in total yards for the state comes from South Walton High School, Kemper Hodges, 3,744 yards, 374 yards a game for Kemper. Jaden Jackson comes in at 14, Joe Brunson 15, and Colin Amison from Port St. Joe at number 7.
When you interviewed him, did he say that he had any offers?
As of right now, he does not have any offers.
Shut up.
He's
good Lord.
As a quarterback, you have to have confidence. Most quarterbacks, they have a lot of confidence. He would like his number 1 choice where he would like to go is LSU.
Really?
Yes, that's his team where he'd like to go. But I think he's going to get some looks here his senior year coming up here, and so will that.
He wants to play with Coach O.
He wants to play with Coach O.
Coach O.
Coach O.
Hey, go Tigers.
Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, our advertisers this year in 2020. Bob and I appreciate you guys listening on Friday nights and every Wednesday night here from Culver's. And
we set all kind of records last Friday.
What a game!
We had listeners from Gainesville, about 8 or 10 states.
Korea.
With 2 countries, Sweden and Korea.
Yep.
Holy cow. Just and we appreciate certainly our Gainesville, our Gainesville listeners.
Most definitely.
And, we don't get paid for it, so we can still call ourselves I still have my amateur status.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the loyalty. We saw that in the comments on the comment section, the loyalty that our fans have. And, to say that, we had almost 2,000 viewers.
Oh, it was incredible.
It was, and that's live. Goodness knows how many more on playbacks.
What really gets me is I did not say one word to the Gainesville and the Buchholz community. That was word of mouth.
Right.
Spread out as the faithful down in Gainesville, Buchholz, as they even commented after. Make sure you tell your color analyst there it's Buchholz, not Gainesville, because they have a rivalry back and forth. And I said, it's all good. But we appreciate them last week coming on, and then we were able to bring the game back to Gainesville.
Free.
And that's what it's all about. Free.
No charge.
Yep.
Thanks to Navarre High School Quarterback Club.
Most definitely.
And they've been good to us, and so we appreciate them so much. I appreciate it. Can't tell you how it's been enjoyable the last 2 years to be back on the air after many years with Fort Walton Beach High School football. And, the Lord has blessed me with a gift of tongue, and I try to, every word that comes out of my mouth, praise him for that. But
sometimes it's not what we expect.
Yeah, true. But you know what? I'm thankful for you, our listening audience, who
most definitely
tune in every Wednesday. Are we going to maybe do some soccer? We just don't know yet.
We just don't know yet because it's tough to broadcast over at the soccer complex, and it's a lot easier. Maybe senior night. As they go to the stadium, maybe we can look at broadcasting senior night from Bennett C. Russell Stadium, because the one game that they'll play at the stadium this fall.
But the only way that you'll find out if we do that, boys or girls, is to go to Irish Bill
Sports, irishbillsports.com, and also on Facebook at Irish Bill's Twist on Sports on my group page as well. And you'll also see me posting a lot of stuff on Twitter and Instagram as well. Or you can listen to our Tuesday and Thursday night show from the Ticket 100.3, 97.1 out of Pensacola. WeAreSportsRadio.com. We've got a great show. We're off tomorrow night for Thanksgiving, and I think this is a good spot to call it a year, Bob. So
I appreciate the friendship.
You got it, buddy.
Our fresh handshake during the COVID era.
And well, until our next broadcast, whatever the good Lord lets us get back on the air, just remember as you head out, happy Thanksgiving, and remember, it's always greater to be a Raider.
Absolutely.
Take care and God bless. Good night,
Navarre.
Both got that in there. We're going to go out with some music, a little bit of music.